Hi everyone, this is Chris from Chris Watches Pretty Little Liars. And before we dive in, I realized last episode I hinted at something. I didn't pay it off. What am I, post-credit sequence here? I was going to say an observation. CC this season is becoming more and more, especially after this episode, someone of great significance in the history of Rosewood. Now, CC was not even on our radar, Season 1 nor Season 2. So what I want to prepare myself and all of you for the potential possibility is that the person who is behind all this may be someone who is created in the middle of Season 6 or Season 7. It may be impossible. Impossible? Yeah. Impossible for me to figure out this mystery because the person who did it doesn't exist yet. It's only in the minds of Sarah, the book author, and a writer's room in Burbank, California, 10 years ago. So what I'm saying is we're going to do what we can here, folks, but the morale of the investigation team is a little low. And strangely, that's because we find out so much about CC tonight that I'm wondering, can I even solve this? All right, let's just get into it. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars. So he can help you figure out who's A. Season 3, Episode 11, Single Fright Female. Single Fright Female. Our previously on reminded us that the end of Season 1, Ian and Spencer were fighting over this thumb drive, which had videos, a whole bunch of videos. We're reminded that Cece's a person. The whole thing in the shack with Emily and Hannah getting cut on the leg. I'm saying, blood sample. Run with 3 ends, stitching up Hannah and doing his flirty flirt thing. Ezra has a brother. There's that earring thing that Arya found. And finally, the Nate Emily smooch, which Paige saw, and that Paige freaked out. We started on Hannah and Spencer trying to figure out how to hide the injury to Hannah, because Hannah doesn't want anyone to know that she was involved in this. But Ren calls Hannah, Red X's him, so there's that. Hannah does end up finding a dress that she used for a play, I think. Spencer sees the missed call, and she pushes, as she does. And she's like, hey, don't get wrapped up in Ren. I know, I was messing around with him. Don't avoid him. Avoid the British accent guy. And a little shout out to the Downton Grabby nickname. One of their better ones. Doorbell rings. Ashley answers. Guess who's here to say hi? Two-timing Ted. Two-timing Pastor Ted is at the door. Apparently, Two-timing Ted found the thumb drive inside the chapel. And he said he looked at some of the videos. And I guess Hannah was on some of the videos. And, there's this talk about, Ashley's excuses. There's a bully targeting people. So Ted has it. And so he wanted to give it to Ashley for Ashley to deal with it properly. So Ashley has the thumb drive. They put it down. There's a smooch, by the way. Pastor Ted and Ashley have a smooch. They make plans for the dinner tonight. Hannah runs downstairs, grabs the thumb drive, and then Ashley catches her and says, what are you doing? I think that's our credit sequence. We go right back to the situation. Hannah says, Mona did the videos, et cetera, trying to lie again. And Ashley's not a Mona fan. And Ashley takes back the thumb drive. She says, I'm going to watch all the videos, and then I'm going to decide what we do about this. So there you go. Ashley is going to be probably one of the few people not in the A network to view the entire contents of the thumb drive. Because I don't know if the liars saw all the videos. Maybe they did. I know they saw a few of them, right? But I don't think they went through every single video. I guess there's quite a few. Cut to Ezra and Arya. Arya wakes him up. It's Ezra's birthday, everybody. And it's supposed to be a big jolly time for, I guess, Ezra. And he's like, I'm feeling kind of grumpy because I wrote an email to Maggie, but I didn't send it yet. So he's still struggling with this whole Maggie situation. Cut to Paige and Emily sitting outside. Very awkward silence at a cafe. Just kind of sitting there. I have to say I'm a little relieved that we finally just get this out of the way. Paige can see Emily is uncomfortable about something. Paige knows what it is. But Emily just tells her. She says, look, she and Nate kissed. It just kind of happened, etc., etc. I think she tells her the entire truth, or 99% of it. And then Paige is understanding. I have so many question marks here. Paige is understanding. She's like, no, I get it. It was a in-the-moment thing. You're going through a lot. He's going through a lot. And I just wrote, the fuck? In my notes. I couldn't tell if this is a lie by Paige or if this is really her being understanding. Like trying to force herself to be understanding. I don't know. But anyway, Paige is like, all good. Spencer and Arya talking about this USB drive and how Hannah's mom has it. And then Arya's like, yeah. By the way, I want to celebrate Ezra's birthday. So, just move right on from there. Basically, Arya says, I want to reach out to Maggie. Maybe that'll brighten up Ezra's gloomy mood or something. Arya runs away, and we see Cece in high school, and Spencer's like, why the fuck is she here? Spencer follows her, and there's some sort of trunk show. I guess it's like for her boutique. Basically, Cece's recruiting people to help her. Spencer was supposed to help. She spaced, but she's like, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be there. And then we see Cece and Spencer notice Emily and Paige, and Cece goes, ew, is Emily into Paige? And we find out via Cece that Allison and Paige were intense rivals. We get a flashback. The liars are with Allie. They're swapping clothes, and they see a big bruise on Allison's back. And apparently, Allie went down in like soccer or something, and Paige kicked Allie in the back and left this huge effing bruise. Now, of course, this is Allison De Laurentiis. Who knows who actually might have hurt her? But I mean, the bruise is not fake. I believe the bruise is real. But according to her, Paige kicked her very, very hard. And she calls her, and they said triple nipple. I guess that's not her nickname. But she does have a nickname. What is her nickname? How come I didn't write her nickname down? Well, Allison has nicknames for everybody, and so basically, Paige and Allison are intense rivals. We come back to the present. Cece is going to help. So Spencer's going to help Cece after school, and Cece walks away, and Paige glares at Spencer. What Cece is telling Spencer is not news to anybody. Everybody on the show knows Paige is not good with Emily. We all know this, so I don't know. I wrote that in my notes. We know this in all caps. Anyway, Hannah and Caleb, I guess one of their ways to communicate while pretending to be broken up is to send themselves instant messages while they're in the computer lab, I guess. It's flirty. It gets hot, folks. It gets pretty hot. And anyway, so their flirting is broken up abruptly by Jenna, who sits down. It's not clear if Hannah closes the IM session or anything on her desktop. It doesn't look like she does. I do not know why she would not. But Jenna takes Hannah's seat and just kind of like, meh. We get a little cutaway shot of Garrett trial coming. The Garrett trial is coming. Nate runs up to Emily outside of school. He's like, hey, let's hang out. Let's do stuff. He thinks they're going on a date, basically. And Emily says to him, look, slow down. She needs to keep things on a friendship level with him. And then Nate, of course, flips a switch. I mean, he's also exhibited some questionable behavior. He says, you're just like Maya. She gave this speech to 20 different guys. And then he runs away. Like, Nate, what the fuck, dude? Very disappointed in Nate. Very disappointed in Paige. All these people around Emily really need to go. We need to get some positive people in Emily's life. Seriously. Arya shows up to a random school. We don't know where yet. And I think she does have a fake name. Did I write it down? Amy? Is that her fake name? Amy? And she says, are you Maggie? And it looks like Arya tracked down infamous Maggie. A little shot at a little shot thrown here. Maggie says, you look so young. Well, if Maggie only knew. Got to Spencer and Emily. She basically tells Emily about Paige. Like, hey, Paige is dangerous. And Emily doesn't want to hear it. Doesn't want to hear about any history with Allie. She doesn't believe it. Paige never mentioned Allie. And something about, which comes up later, you can see someone is eavesdropping on this conversation. There's a lot of slander about Paige here, okay? Keep that in mind. Cut to Jenna eating grapes outside the school. Very strange thing happening here. Hannah walks out, and she says to Jenna, hey, thumb drive is found. My mom has it. She might take it to the police. Don't be mad at us. We didn't do it. You know, we tried, and someone found it. So if you get mad, Jenna, it's not our fault. We didn't send that video to the world. Jenna gives a vague threat, as always. She runs over to a car, I guess, and then Nate runs up to Hannah and says, hey, what's going on? And Hannah's like, look, I want to get involved with you and Emily, but she probably just wants to be friends. And Nate's like, boy. Then he sees Jenna, and Hannah's like, by the way, Jenna can see. And Nate's like, she was faking. And he starts shouting at Jenna. Nate is pissed. Nate is not having a good day. Cut to Arya and Maggie. It looks like Arya's pretending to be, she's in college, and she's, I guess, trying to get real classroom experience. I don't know what her story is, but Maggie buys it. Maggie looks really sweet. Now, I know that's a curse of death to say, talking about characters on the show, but she seems really, she seems really nice. I'm like, run, Maggie, run. Get away from all these people, especially Arya. A little boy comes up, says something about he wants something, and she's like, no, you can't have it. He walks away. We find out his name is Malcolm, and it's Maggie's son. And she's like, yep, before you ask me, yes, I was a teen mom, LOL. Arya's face drops. Yeah. Cut to Spencer and Cece doing the trunk show prep. And Emily's supposed to help, but Spencer's like, well, I told her about Paige. And Cece's like, LOL, you shouldn't have. And we get a flashback. Allison and Cece. So Cece's driving a car. Allison teased Paige about Emily. So I guess Paige has been pining for Emily for a long time, which, as I've said, I think she has a lot of Lucas parallels here. Lucas has pined for Hannah for a long time. Paige has pined for Emily for a long time. Well, Allison was really mean, of course, to Paige. And she faked a note from Emily to Paige saying, hey, these are my feelings. Leave a note here and whatever and say your feelings. So we see Paige ride up on a bike, put a note under a sign, and then Allie hops out. There is a confrontation. Allie has the note that says, I'm going to show this to your dad. And then they drive away. And Cece's like, she thinks Allison was scared of Paige. Interesting, right? Interesting. Cut to Emily and Paige at Emily's. Again, Paige is allowed inside Emily's room. I do not like this. The Pirate's Daughter for a King's Ransom that Emily is reading. And then Emily finally goes, hey, by the way, did you know Allie? And Paige gets very defensive. When mentioning Allie, she says, I don't really know her. I only know her a little bit. And basically Paige is like, are your friends really your friends? Yeah, this conversation takes a dive. And Paige does not come out looking very good. Cut to Arya at Ezra's. They're trying to do this party. Ezra's brother shows up and she says, Maggie's in Wilmington. She went to see her and she's a mom of a 7-year-old boy. And Wes goes, oh, shit. Come back to Spencer and Cece. The event is happening. She texts Hannah about Paige. And then this is the weirdest. Is this the weirdest thing that's happened on the show so far? I don't know. So Spencer's in this room by herself, this changing room, which, by the way, is almost the size of my apartment that I live in currently. The door gets locked somehow. So there's a door latch on the inside. Somehow the door gets locked from the outside. She tries to text Hannah, no cell service. And then a snake. A snake emerges from some clothing behind her. Cece's outside. Snake of Doom, I'm calling this. Spencer's screaming, banging on the door. Cece finally runs in, opens the door, and kills the snake. Now, I have a Cece theory at the end of this. Spencer and Hannah, I guess the show not only is going on, but Spencer is staying here. Spencer suspects Paige did this because there was something referred to in the snake in the hallway conversation at school. Spencer suspects, that's hard to say, Spencer suspects Paige overheard this, and this is Paige's way to say F you, Spencer. Emily calls, and we have a new development. She had the bag, Maya's bag, and there was a knife in the bag. Well, guess what? The knife is missing. Someone took the knife out of the bag. Now, who in the fuck has access to Emily's room? Someone took it. Paige. That's what Spencer thinks, I think. We cut to Ezra's birthday party, which is literally him, his brother, and Arya. I have to give a credit to the actor because Wes sounds like Ezra in this moment. It's very well done by the actor. I put in my notes, no, it looked like they were going to smooch. There's a little tension there. Come back to the trunk show. So now Hannah's in the back room. The door opens. Someone grabs her. It's Caleb. Caleb looking for some smooch time. I guess he stalled Ashley, so she's not going to turn over to the police yet. So he bought them a little bit of time. But I have so many questions about this. How did he get in there? How did he get into the dressing room? How did he not be seen? Why is he scaring Hannah to kiss her? Did he do the snake thing? That would be very weird if he did the snake thing, but he's the only one in there. And then she tells Caleb about the whole Paige stuff. So there's that. Come back to the party. Ezra comes in. Surprise, surprise. Arya and Wes are very weird. And then Ezra's finally like, he called Maggie. They talk for 5 minutes. And she says, Maggie told Ezra that she lives by herself and he's relieved. She's okay. And so he walks away and goes, boop, 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 boop. I'm going to shower. Then we're going to have our smackdown party here. Arya and Wes look at each other like, shit, Maggie lied. What does Arya do, right? Trunk show time. Emily shows up and with Paige, of course. Emily goes to the back. And so it's Paige and Spencer working on these rings. And they're putting rings on there. Paige breaks one of these mannequin fingers. It is very horrifying. Very well done by the show. Because clearly this is just a mannequin. And Spencer's already nervous around Paige. Paige breaks one of these fingers. She's like, oops. Spencer's like, oh shit, we gotta get Emily out of this relationship. Come back to Ezra. Wes and Arya try to sneak a conversation while he plays some records like, oh, look at the old music I like. And then Wes whispers to Arya, maybe the reason Maggie lied to Ezra is that Mom is still paying for Maggie. So if something comes out, those payments stop and little boy's in trouble. So they decide in this moment, Arya and Wes, they're going to lie to Ezra as well about the existence of this child, Malcolm. So Spencer and Hannah are like, look, that knife is probably in Paige's bag and we need to find out. So they distract Paige. They grab the bag, search for the knife. Spencer is digging. Emily and Paige come back. They're like, I don't know how you didn't trust me, blah, blah, blah. They're so mad. They give back the purse. They leave. So Emily and Paige leave. So a big blow up. Everything looks bad, but Spencer found something, folks. Spencer did find something. We don't see what it is quite yet. We see Emily and Paige sitting outside Emily's house, and then Paige confesses. Yes, she did have a war with Allison. Sorry about that. Sorry for lying. And then Paige is crying. Emily is very sympathetic. Cut to Hannah and Ashley. Ashley watched every single video. She takes a thumb drive and destroys it because on that thumb drive, folks, there was a video of her and Detective Wilden getting it on. Holy shit. I think, when I was talking about earlier this season where I was like, we haven't addressed the video thing. At least I haven't internalized what it meant. And the way Jason described it sounded absolutely horrifyingly creepy. Not beyond creepy, right? Invasive, predatory. But the fact that this video is also on here, I realized it's also blackmail videos. All these videos. Extensive collection of blackmail videos. I don't know, just something, that just hit me. There's more to it than just being creeps. Granted, extreme creep. I'm wondering if on the surface, it is just creepy, right? It's creepy, invasive, horrible, but its ulterior motive is to supply somebody with tons of blackmail videos. Ding dong, two-time Ted arrives, and Ashley's about to admit that she destroyed the thumb drive. Hannah's like, nope, I did it. Pastor Ted's like, well, that's that. Let's go to dinner, Ashley, which is very strange to me. I don't know. Pastor Ted's like, that's good for me. Let's just have dinner, Ashley, and they leave. So that's that. Spence reveals that she didn't find the knife in Paige's bag. So you cut back to those two. It was the other Aria earring in Paige's bag. And for some reason, that tells the liars that Paige has the bones. Underline, Paige has the bones. That's what they're thinking, anyway. Come back to Paige and Emily. There's a creeper in the woods. Jenna comes walking up. I guess Paige goes inside. And she says to Emily, I want to talk to you. Oh, I didn't think you were alone. She wants to warn her about something. And Emily's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, don't trust blank. Don't trust this person. Don't be alone with them. Jenna hops into a taxi, so I guess she's going to be off for a few episodes. And she drives away. Emily's phone rings. Paige Red X's Spencer. Off of Emily's phone, by the way. Jenna leaves in a taxi, and Paige glares at Jenna. Post-credit scene, we see G5 on a jukebox. Smiling faces. And we see two gloved individuals. One of them hands the A unit key to the other. So it looks like the A's share a unit together. So what do we think, folks? What's going on here? So as we said, Paige has a very similar pattern as Lucas does. They have an obsession with the liars, pining from afar, and they've been using the A network, in my theory, to get the object of their affection. That was Lucas's attempt to woo Hannah, and this is Paige's, at least current, successful attempt to woo Emily. Let's move on to Cece. I believe Cece is doing what I think Ren is doing. Cece is doing things to get the liar's trust. Now, what do you mean by that, Chris? I think she put that snake in that room with Spencer. I really do. I think Cece put the snake in there. Who else even had the access to do that, right? And so Cece comes in there and saves the day. Classic reversal. Hey, Spencer can trust Cece now. And she's been building that trust for a very long time. But the college admissions thing, all that stuff. I think Cece is trying to gain the liar's trust. Now, we've seen Cece and Allison together, partners in crime. We didn't even know Cece existed. Whether this is a show thing or this is just a plot thing or both, Cece just now exists. And she's been part of Allison's life for a very long time, much to everyone's surprise. So that's also interesting. And then confirmation, which we already knew, multiple A's, at least 5 to 6 A's, and looks like they're going to swap rooms. So one could, in theory, say that Jenna was part of that post-credit scene, handed off the key to our new A. So what I'm thinking at the end of this episode, this whole A thing is very shaky. The network is growing. One of my very early theories is that the group was very small to reduce the chances of someone spilling the beans. Well, we're kind of starting to slip out of control. And I think more likely than ever, someone's going to slip. So the question is now, if we have A defectors, how does the A network shut down to protect all those who did not want to be exposed? So I think there might be characters like Paige, Lucas, maybe other orbiting characters who will now be in danger because now they know too much. There's going to be a cleanup operation. So I've been Chris. You can find me on Instagram at Magoogs. I'm done with Twitter, so don't even find me there, but I'm there. But just Instagram at Magoogs, occasionally twitching at Mac2TheGow. Thank you if you popped in on the Halloween stream. It was very, very, very successful. We raised over $300 for the Trevor Project. I'm very proud of my community, and I consider you, if you're a listener here, part of that said community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for listening to this podcast. I keep making them. I don't know if you're listening, but I've committed to this. We're at 61 episodes. I think we can get to the end. Okay, I've said way too much.